So we are rockstars on this job achievement done again, this time on death sentence with the 1 down modifier. So yeah, this compared to 1 down versus death sentence with 1 down modifier is that now you can't really cheese the AI as effective because they kind of implemented their own full speed swarm mod into the game. But yeah, you can still cheese the game with the AI if you so want to. Kiting enemies is still fairly effective on a lot of maps. And, just sitting inside a good cover spot, as always, is good. But yeah, still using Sicario, just because I kind of just prefer using Sicario. It's a little bit more consistent with its dodge, and as well, if you pop down the smoke grenade, you have a really good chance to dodge bullets in general. So yeah, the strategy here is to go into one of the rooms where the drop-off can be. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm just going to sit inside this room and, I restarted day 1 over and over and over again until I got this one. And that actually took me a couple of tries. But funny enough, one of my attempts where I got the crane over the catwalk on this side of the map, I almost completed that one, but I sadly went down right in front of the escape car, and the AI, they eventually reached me, but as I got up, the escape driver got shot, so yeah, that kind of sucked, because that run was a lot more interesting. And, it would have been maybe a little bit more interesting to watch than just seeing me only sitting in this room, shoot enemies, and then a drop-off truck comes in, you drop off the bags, and then you just run to escape. So yeah, with the AI changes they brought with the death sentence difficulty, the AI seems to be a lot more consistent now. It doesn't really matter too much if the host have a really terrible computer or not. But, after playing random pops as well, I have noticed that some games the enemies just doesn't seem to care about you at all. They just do whatever they want. So yeah, but just like always whenever I've been hosting, because I have a pretty good PC, so I can reach a good high frame rates in this game. I tend to play somewhere between 100 and 150 FPS on most maps. Some maps that aren't as optimized, I dip down to 80, 70. So yeah, comparing Death Sentence when I was playing without the FPS limiter, without setting the frame rate to 60 or 30, this feels slightly easier actually, compared to the old AI with the high frame rate. But again, I feel like since they changed the AI with this full speed swarm mod, light version of it that is in the game, I do feel like the enemies are very random now. Sometimes the enemies never seem to care about you, they just stay wherever they are, and sometimes they all just bomb rush you at once. So yeah, I really don't understand that, but it's whatever really. But still, one of the main problems with Death Sentence is still in the game. 10 enemies deal 225 damage with their weapons. There is no damage fall off on those shots either, so yeah, armor builds tend to not be good on Death Sentence because of that. And Death Sentence really only have a set amount of perk decks that are really good. That is mainly the dodge perk decks, because dodge is RNG based of just avoiding bullets. Then you have Stoic, because you can actually tank the damage with that perk deck. And then you have Anarchist, because armor gating and the 2-second invulnerability when you armor break every 15 seconds. So yeah, it's those perk decks that usually almost only get used on Death Sentence, which is pretty boring. You know, the meta on Death Sentence is extremely stale. Most people tend to run shotguns or, you know, grenade launchers. Now, some people like to run sniper rifles, but I still will say shotguns are overall better. Especially since, you know, this game now is almost only crowd control anyway. So yeah, here I had my Inspire up because it's been some time since I went down. So I just kind of like started to run towards the escape. And even though I died or went into custody, I still was in the escape zone, so the escape triggered. And yeah, so that is day 1. And yeah, definitely day 1 on Watch Dogs is, like, if you're not using any good weapons, it's definitely the most difficult day. If you have good weapons and a good setup, then day 2 is a lot easier than day 1. But again, Watch Dogs in general isn't too difficult. It's mainly just getting all of the bags that is really the hassle of the heist. Especially if you're playing solo, because you can't really move bags that fast then. So yeah, day 2, just like when I did this on 1 down, I'm mainly just going to kite the enemies around the map. Just going to run like a circle around the warehouse. When they start to get close to me, I just move position. So yeah, kiting enemies is still fairly effective on maps where you can do that, because it's a big enough map and you have enough like spots where you have good cover. The main, again, you know, one of the main differences now is that kiting them isn't as effective, but at least now I can kill them a little bit more effectively, because the AMCAR deals a little bit more damage, and the enemies have a lot less health. So yeah, on this day I end up in custody because they actually steal one of the bags. Because as I'm running to drop off the bags on the boat, I, you know, go down a couple of times. Because, you know, there are a few enemies that just sits there. And it's Death Sentence. If enemies are just looking at you, you lose your armor. And if they just breathe on you, you go down. But yeah. But I would probably say, like, most tedious thing about Death Sentence is that Inspire and Swan Song is, like, it's still, like, the only thing you really need. Like, all you get is, like, Inspire and Swan Song, and equip yourself with a grenade launcher, rogue, and then a weapon that have, like, high DPS to deal with bulldozers. Like, that is honestly all you need to do, almost do every single Death Sentence heist. Especially if you know the map and, you know how to either cheese the enemies around the map or how to do it, like, very quickly. I'll probably say, like, the very few heists that were, you know, getting other things than just Inspire and Swan Song is really good is probably, like, the Bomb Forest and the Goat Sim, because those two heists are the worst heists in the game. And that is mainly because you have no fucking cover on both of them. Both of the maps are so open. In Goat Sim you have to move around a lot to get the goats. On the Bomb Forest it's like almost no places where you have good cover. In Goat Sim you at least like have a decent amount of places where you can take cover. And you know, you can also do Goat Sim the first day like the long way, by only running out and grab the goats when the assault waves ends. But again, that's slow, and going slow in this game is boring. Why spend like 45 minutes on the first day of Goat Sim when you can just spend like 10-15? So yeah. Also, one of the reasons why I actually did this is because I saw the spring break event that is coming up, and I was like, hey, let's start to play a little bit more Payday again. Why not? Payday is still fun, but, you know, after you have done everything in the game, both on the PC version and then on the Switch version, you know, it gets boring, but You know, I tried to fresh things up, use a lot of different builds and all that. So, you know, I decided, why not try to do via Rockstar on this job on Death Sentence with the 1 down modifier. Show off that, yes, you can still very easily cheese the game with Team AI and, you know, kiting enemies and all that. They definitely did not get rid of all of the cheese strategies in the game. And, you know, dodge in general, RNG based. Sometimes you get extremely lucky, and because of that you can complete heists. Yeah, it would be nice to actually see them changing how Swansong work as well, considering how overpowered it is. Because Swansong is like the skill you should like pick up for Death Sentence. It makes Death Sentence like a 1000 times easier. 6 seconds of invulnerability and limited ammo is... it's just too good. So it would be nice to see them actually put a cooldown on Swansong so you cannot just spam it. Because, you know, that's one of the main problems really with Swansong. You know, the spammability of it. Just Swansong with a grenade launcher over and over and over again. Yeah. It would be nice if they actually did something about it, but seeing how they're balancing the game, I doubt they will even bother to try to change Swansong. I'm pretty sure it would just stay how it is now for like forever. Which, yeah, it's a little bit sad, but you can't really do anything about it. So here I get a decent amount of luck on the dodges. Which again is kind of as expected with Sicario. Sicario tends to be, in my experience, a little bit more consistent than Rogue. With Rogue you usually, you know, you either never die or you just die immediately. I much rather prefer Sicario where you're kind of doing both of the things at the same time. And yeah, also when you get the lock streaks, I always felt like, yeah, if you are using cover well, you tend to get like a lot longer lock streaks with your dodge. And also since every time you dodge you can basically tank a bullet after that, so... Especially if you get the Sneaky Bastard dodge bonus to 30 base. Definitely makes it so you can run around and just dodge almost everything and never die. So yeah, here the assault wave is over, I just run towards the bag they stole. And just get it back. Don't care if I go into custody because I can get traded almost immediately anyway. So yeah, I can go back in and here is the AI changes, like you can see in play. As I go in, or spawn right back in, they, like 2 or 3 people target me almost immediately. And because of that I go down. So yeah, but it's no big deal. I make it back anyway. As long as I make it back, it's it's no problem going down. Because, you know, the Team AI is so tanky they almost never die. Which is both nice, but it's also really stupid. Because it almost makes like Team AI better than real players. And also considering that the AI players can also give you some boosts, like reload speed bonus, interact speed bonus. Yeah, that makes the AI really, really good. So yeah, this is the last down. And now I'm just waiting for the escape helicopter to come in. And of course, I'm, as always, going to guess like where it will land. I do guess on the side I'm going to right now. And I'm hoping it will like land right next to the dock instead of, you know, right on top. That little platform up there on the warehouse. Because that escape is not fun to go to, because you have to go up a ladder, and that takes some time. But going to the helicopter when it lands right next to the dock, you know, you just sprint towards the escape and just hope enemies will not target you and dodge will save you. But again, I'm fairly confident in general here that I'm actually going to finish this heist now, because I have armor, I have the smoke grenade, so yeah. And here comes the helicopter. I got the spot I wanted, right next to the dock here. So just pop a smoke grenade like halfway, just in case someone starts to shoot at me, but no one is targeting me, so that's kind of lucky. And that is we are rockstars on this job achievement on death sentence with 1 down modifier. So I'm going to show off the weapon mods, you know, melee weapon, the doctor bag and all that, perk deck, etc, what I'm using. Steam VR detected, too bad I don't have a VR headset. Yeah, here's the weapon mods on the AMCAR. And here is the mods on the Chimano 88. Both of them modified in a way that just boosts their stats as high as possible. Don't bother with silencer because, yeah, electrical brass nut, Sicario, Dr. Bag, the AI abilities and boosts. And showing off, I have no mods installed, just vanilla Payday 2, showing off the video settings as well. Limited frame rate. So yeah, that is it.